man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to jump on a call. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity.
I mean, you last fought back in April at CageSport 56. I think you won via rear naked choke in the first round, just 41 seconds. Congratulations.
Yeah.
How'd it feel to get that win that fast, man?
It was good. It reminded me a little bit of my amateur career. I had a lot of mismatches with my grappling compared to my opponents, and getting to feel that again at the pro level was refreshing and very satisfying.
Nice. Tapology shows that as being your first pro win. Was that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had some real tough matchups to start my career out so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a few cancellations, even kind of delaying everything, right?
Yeah, there was the Dominate card that went on, and there was a couple of injuries with that, and then the cancellation. So I had 3 fights drop out last year.
Wow, man. Hopefully this year's a better year for you, at least getting some fights on the card there.
Yeah, getting the fight in with Cole. It was good to have, first fight of the year start, and then looking forward to hopefully November on Reigns' card.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was just going to ask, so when can us fans expect to see you back in the cage? So you're looking at November then?
Yep, I've got my name out for the matchmaking on that card, and hopefully we'll see something back pretty soon.
Okay, awesome, man. I mean, you train out of Academy of Brian Johnson. You got just killers out there like Mike Holt and Brandon Monteith. I mean, how much confidence does it give you heading into your fights, training from that camp?
It's amazing having the different looks from the different styles and sizes. I've been with Brian since I was 19 years old, so I've gotten to see it go from just a stacked powerhouse when it was Jared Tier, Nick Ryan. We had just all kinds of crazy guys in there. And then there was a little break in the middle, and now getting to see guys like Dylan Potter, Jake Sebastian, Julian Martin. I'm going against some of the state's best guys, and then on Wednesdays we have people coming in from out of town, and it's turned into an MMA mecca in the state, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. I first met Brian at the event that we debuted at back in 2012 at the Northwest Fight Challenge. I'm actually originally from Covington, so
cool.
Brian's a good dude, man. I like him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tapology for some reason doesn't list any of your amateur fights. So, I mean, Tapology is only right like 20% of the time. But I think you started fighting like back in 2009. I think you've got like 12 amateur fights, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Man.
8 and 4. I think
okay.
I wound up as.
Awesome. I mean, you've been in the game for a long time. Well, 10 years now, right? I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. Yes and no. So I took a real long break to work on my bill-paying career.
Oh, sure.
I'm an electrician full-time. I actually just started up my own business doing that.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. And so I had a season where I focused on family and career, and I got real chubby during that experience. Something lit a fire into my butt to go see Brian, and wound up losing 90 pounds. I was up to 270 pounds. And through that, I got the fire being in there with a bunch of those young killers every day, and getting my butt kicked for no reason other than trying to lose weight didn't seem worth it.
Sure.
So I got a real passion for jiu-jitsu, and the best way for me to know my jiu-jitsu would do what I wanted to do is to go in there while somebody's trying to kick me in the head and apply it.
Yeah. Oh, man. How did you get started in MMA? I mean, you just kind of said you kind of went in to lose some weight, but before that, did you start training like in karate as a kid, or what kind of drew you to the MMA sport?
So I've been wrestling since high school.
Okay.
I've got a younger brother, so I've been doing MMA since I was 2 years old.
Wow.
Just kicking each other's butts with cookie sheets and what have you. We were one of the millions of people that watched Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner fight. I was 15 years old. He was 13 years old, and it was from that night forward we were watching Spike TV and practicing stuff on each other.
Right.
I went into the Army. I got kicked out for a prior to enlistment injury. They said I was physically unfit for military living standards.
Interesting.
And when I got out, I was at an LA Fitness, ran into some dudes hitting pads in one of the racquetball courts, walked in and asked if they could show me something. And that was the first team that I trained with. Abel Guzman got me my first 4 fights. Brian Johnson was at each of those fights telling me to come to his gym and start training, and I wound up fighting a fellow named Torian Washington, one of Matt Hume's guys, up on Matt Hume's card for his amateur welterweight belt.
Yeah.
And I got triangled in the first round.
Okay.
Brian said, you got to learn how to do something other than wrestle. Come to my gym. It's free. So I did that. And it's been a whirlwind since then.
Man. So cool, dude. I always love to ask this question, but what was your family's reaction when you're like, dude, I want to go fight in a cage?
So my mom thankfully is one of the most supportive people on the planet. But I was born 9 weeks early, real premature, a lot of medical issues.
Okay.
They told my mom I was going to be screwed up my whole life.
Wow.
Coordinated, small, mentally, set back, and so I think she still holds on to a little bit of that whenever I tell her I'm going to do something physical, and she thinks that I can't do it.
Right.
So of course my mom's always trying to protect me. My wife is also a savage, so she supports me in whatever crazy dreams I get myself into. And luckily, other than when I fought Antonio Fuentes, I haven't really received any damage.
Okay.
I've only been knocked out once in my whole career. Harrison Bevins tweaked my arm up real good, and I spent a little bit of a time in a cast. But other than that, man, I've been fortunate that I haven't given them any real reason to ask me to stop.
Yeah, awesome.
And I don't think my kids are old enough to perceive what's going on yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Fighting is such a mental game as it is a physical game. What do you do on the mental side of things to kind of prepare for fights?
That's probably the hardest thing, man. It's going and doing work is real easy for me. I've always been a worker.
Yeah.
It's the performance anxiety that I would say is always, I think it's more of a problem for most athletes than they're willing to admit.
Sure.
That's one of the reasons I've been such a fan of Cowboy. Because he'll come out and tell you, dude, before that fight, I'm scared shitless.
Yeah,
and, it's real. And the having such a supportive family and coaches like Brian and JJ and teammates that I love and that they love me, and being one of the older guys on the team, I feel like I've got a responsibility to go out there and work and then to execute.
Yeah.
And, it's a bunch of bullshit we don't need to put on ourselves, man.
Totally.
It's who you are and what you do is going to dictate how those people will perceive you, not what happens on one night. So
right.
I'd say up until Antonio Fuentes knocked me out in the second round, I didn't realize that. And then seeing all of the love from family, friends, even just strangers that were there for the fight, it kind of put things into perspective for me, man. And it was the most devastating loss I'd experienced, but also the easiest to digest.
Sure.
Because I put the work in. I had a great fight until I made a mistake and got caught. And Antonio's one heck of a near. So it's more so of just the mental part for me is knowing that I did the work. As long as I go out there and do the work, the outcome doesn't matter. The performance, it's going to be what it's going to be. Sometimes guys have a better night. Sometimes they're better than you. And you've got to be willing to accept that in this sport, in my opinion. Heck, man, I feel like I can beat anybody, but also anybody can beat me.
Sure.
It's one heck of a sport. That's the biggest thing that I would impress upon with the mental side is just making sure that you've set your expectations high.
Yeah.
You set your workload higher. And then where you fall is where you fall, as long as you did what you set out to do in training.
Come on. That's awesome, man. So cool, dude. Do you care for do some rapid fire questions real quick on you?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, man. What's your favorite moment of your MMA career so far?
It was probably my last fight, man. Getting that pro win after, I went pro in 2011.
Gotcha.
And then had a 7-year layoff. Coming back and losing 80 pounds, fighting at a new weight class, fighting a guy with a 9-inch reach advantage on me, going through that process, and then putting in 18 months of work, and then having cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. My fight camp for this last fight wound up being 5 months.
Wow.
Just because I was too scared to fall out of shape because it was gonna come.
Yeah.
So I did all of the work for an opponent named Clint. He wound up getting injured, tossing out his back. And then got a replacement, Clay. Dominate disappeared. And then, it was another 2 months of training for my recent opponent, Cole.
Yeah.
So the sacrifice that I cut, the time with my wife, with my family, the money that I could have made going out and working, all to put into a training camp, man, to put into one performance that only lasted 41 seconds.
Yeah.
Which was also kind of anticlimactic at the same time.
Sure.
That would have been it.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a favorite fighter? I mean, maybe it's Cowboy Cerrone. You mentioned him earlier.
Cowboy's up there, man. It's hard for me to say there's a favorite right now because I think there's just so many amazing athletes. Watching Amanda Nunes last weekend, defeat another champion in the first round was amazing. But watching Gamebred Jiu Jitsu start Ben Askren. That
Come on.
would be my favorite fighter because of a 5-second knockout.
Right.
Cowboy's always a good go-to. He's one of the realest dudes out there. He'll fight anybody.
Yep.
The only knock I'd have on him is I wish he was a little bit more professional for his career. I think he could have been the champion a couple times now if he wasn't such a wild man, but it's also why we love him.
Right. Yep. I saw a lot of pictures. You shoot some guns. Do you have a favorite gun that you like to shoot?
I'm a real big fan of the SIG pistols. I think that they're real fun shooters, man. SIG and Glock, probably my favorite pistols, and then anything in 5.56 is fun to shoot.
Nice. My everyday carry is the P320 from SIG.
It's a great gun. They've done a lot of good things to that model in the last few years.
What's your favorite type of music, or do you have a favorite band?
Dude, I listen to everything. Right now, you could find some kind of EDM, country music. You'd hear that new Lil Nas X song, I'm certain. It just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm driving, which I do a lot of for work, it could be country. And if I'm getting ready to work out, it's hip-hop or rock.
Cool, man. Last question for you. Who do you think John Jones should fight next?
Himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the saddest things in the world, man. He's the greatest martial artist to ever live, but he can't apply those morals and standards to himself outside of the cage.
Dude, I also want to give you an opportunity to give a shout out to coaches, teammates, sponsors, anybody like that as well in the video.
Yeah, absolutely, man. JJ Martin is my jiu-jitsu coach. He is I believe 3-stripe brown belt now under George, out under Marcelo Alonso. He's the one that got me to put on a gi. He's also a former wrestler that didn't want to do gi jiu-jitsu. I've only been in the gi now for 2 years. I've got my purple belt under him and George. I've fallen in love with it. Our school is growing rapidly. We're still a pretty small group of guys, but we've got some real amazing young kids and young men and women in there, and it's been a blast to see that happen. Brian Johnson, I think, is the most detailed striking coach in the state. He cares more about his guys than I've ever seen any other coach. Not to knock on anybody else. I love my guys. I want to give Dylan Potter a big shout out. The kid motivates the heck out of me. He's a stud. He's talented. He's given me a really big push in development in my striking. And then some of my sponsors, DexaFit Seattle, they really helped me keep my nutrition on track. Summit Strength and Conditioning, a university place, has got me stronger and more fit than I've ever been in my life. And then Michael Stedman, he's just a great staple in the Olympia community. He does a lot for us.
Cool.
Those are the guys that I'd like to give a shout out to.
James, it's an honor to speak today, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you fight, hopefully in November. Get that hand raised again, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Eric. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching the show. Please subscribe to our channel. Would really appreciate that. If you could please give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And please check back. We're always bringing on awesome people for the Top Rated MMA Show and entrepreneurs, world changers, and success-minded people for the Bearded Biz Show. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.